Now today we are going to start with our new chapter, metallurgy. What is metallurgy? That is extraction of metal from its ore. Before starting that, we should know what is metal, what is non-metal. You must be aware that 118 element, 120 elements are known to the earth. Some are metal, some are non-metal, some are inert gases and some are metalloids. So what are metals? Metals are those that is ductile. Ductile means that can be drawn into thin wires. Malleable, that means that can be drawn into thin sheets. They are good conductor of electricity and they are positively charged. Copper was the first metal to be used by the man, and the rest like aluminium, silver, gold, it is being used from the ancient times. Some metals are used for making jewelry, coins, utensils, furniture, bridges, nail, tools, machines. Some are used as catalysts like iron in a Haber's process, platinum, right? Iron, some are used in a biological process like iron. Iron is a blood pigment present in a hemoglobin, right? So these are all about metals. So in this chapter metallurgy, ICSE has reduced the course. You have to learn only what are minerals, what are ores, what is a metallurgy of aluminium, what is alloy, what is the use of making alloy, and some alloys, composition of some alloys. Only this much you have to learn. So what are non-metals now? They are non-ductile. They cannot be drawn into thin wires. Non-malleable, that means they cannot be drawn into thin sheets. They are negatively charged except hydrogen. Hydrogen is a lightest element used in a hydrogenation like oxygen. Oxygen is also a non-metal. We are using it for respiration and combustion. Nitrogen is reducing the rate of combustion because nitrogen is inert, somewhat inert, not that inert gas. It can react, but it react at a very high temperature. That is why it is considered as inert, but it cannot be included in a inert gases because its outermost shell is not completely filled. So because of its inertness, that is that it cannot be it cannot react at a lower temperature. It can be used to preserve many things in it. All right. Now, what is the occurrence of these things, these metals? Metallurgy may we have to learn about extraction of metal. Only one metal extraction we have to learn, that is aluminium, right? So, what is occurrence? What is occurrence? Occurrence means where it can be found. So, anything can be found in a free state or a combined state. So, free state is what? That it is found alone. Combined state is what? That it is found with something else. So those metals which are less reactive, that means like gold, platinum, silver, they are very less reactive, so they are found in a free state. But like sodium, potassium, magnesium, aluminium, they are highly reactive. As you know from the activity series, they are highly reactive, so they will react, so they will found in a combined state only, like sulfide, oxide, carbonate, bicarbonate, like that. All right. Now, what is the definition of mineral and ore? That is there in your course. Only definition of mineral and ore. So, what is mineral? The naturally occurring compound of metal which are generally mixed with other substance. What are those other substance? Like soil, mud, sand, silica, limestone. These, when metal are mixed with these, that is called as mineral. These particles like soil, mud, sand, silica, limestone and all, these earthy impurities are called as gangue or matrix. So what are minerals? That is naturally occurring compound of metal which are generally mixed with some earthy particles. What are earthy particles? That is soil, sand, silica, mud, limestone, twigs. These all are called as, these earthy particles are called as gangue or matrix. Now what are ores? So see, from all the minerals we cannot extract the metal. Remember, from all the minerals we cannot extract the metal. But the minerals from which we can extract the metal, that is called as ore. Rest all are mineral. Lekin from the mineral from which the metal can easily be extracted, that is called as ore. Alright, so mineral are naturally occurring compound of metals, and ore are the mineral from which metal can easily be extracted. Now, ores of iron, ores of aluminium, and ore of one more thing is given in your book, but in your course for this year is only ore of aluminium. So what are the ore of aluminium? There are three main ore of aluminium. The most important ore is bauxite, that is hydrated aluminium oxide, Al2O3 dot 2H2O. Second one is cryolite, that is NaAlF6, sodium aluminium fluoride. And third one is corundum, that is anhydrous, means water of crystallization is not there, anhydrous aluminium oxide, that is Al2O3. Only these three O's you have to learn from this part. From this part you have to learn minerals, ore definition, what are the ores of aluminium, and few metal properties, or metal uses, few that you have already learned, right? Now we will directly jump to 7C. Right now, before that we were reading 7A part. 7B part is not in our course for this year. Now 7C, that is extraction of aluminium. See, in metallurgy so many steps are there. Like first one is concentration, this you have done in your class 8. Like first one is concentration, second concentration, that means purification, right? Second one is the conversion of concentrated ore into oxide, right? Then we will do electrolysis and all. So before we should start with this extraction. So aluminium, from which ore we will extract the aluminium? So basically the main ore of aluminium is bauxite, that is Al2O3 dot 2H2O, in which 60% aluminium oxide is present, right? 60% is aluminium oxide. So what are rest? So rest are sand, ferric oxide and titanium oxide. And these three, sand, ferric oxide and titanium oxide, is called as red mud. That is called as red mud. So for the extraction of aluminium, which ore we use? That is bauxite, Al2O3 dot 2H2O, in which 60% aluminium oxide is present, rest being sand, ferric oxide and titanium oxide present as an impurity, which is called as red mud. Now for the extraction of aluminium, we have to remove this impurities, then only we can find out pure aluminium oxide. Then from that aluminium oxide we can extract aluminium. So first process for the extraction of aluminium is Bayer's process, in which what we will do, that is purification of bauxite. That is, we will do purification of bauxite. So what we have to do first, aluminium oxide, that is bauxite, we have to take, react it with NaO. So first aluminium oxide, that is bauxite, we will take and react it with NaOH at 140 to 150 degrees Celsius for 2 to 8 hours. We will keep it. So what will happen? It will convert into sodium meta-aluminate. This firstly we will grind this ore, crush into powder. Then we will react it with NaOH at 140 to 150 degrees Celsius for 2 to 8 hours. We will keep it. So this ore will dissolve and forming sodium meta-aluminate, that is NaAlO2. Alright. Now what is left behind? That is left behind will be sand, ferric oxide and titanium oxide will left behind. What forms? Sodium meta-aluminate. So this sand, ferric oxide, titanium oxide, that is red mud, will be removed by filtration. Now we will take that sodium meta-aluminate and it will be again diluted. With water, and temperature is brought down to 50 degrees Celsius. Then it will form this NaOH and aluminium hydroxide. But we need what? Aluminium oxide. So now what we will do, aluminium hydroxide form precipitate. So this precipitate, suppose we have this test tube, this is water and this is precipitate. So what we will do, we will filter it out, we will get this aluminium oxide, right? This aluminium oxide is then brought to 1000 degrees Celsius. Aluminium hydroxide is brought to 1000 degrees Celsius, means this aluminium hydroxide is heated to, ignited to 1000 degrees Celsius. Then we will get this aluminium oxide and water. Aluminium oxide and water. So aluminium oxide हमें मिल गया. Now we have to do what? We have to take out this aluminium oxide, and from this aluminium oxide we will take out the aluminium. See what is left in a filtrate here, NaOH. We have filtered aluminium hydroxide. So what is left with us? Filtrate, NaOH. NaOH we have used in this step also. So this NaOH we can reuse. This NaOH we can reuse for the next time. Alright. Now, remember this aluminium hydroxide. Aluminium is highly reactive, right? Now this aluminium oxide, aluminium you all know is highly reactive. So it cannot be or highly reactive and has a very good affinity for aluminium. Sorry, oxygen. This aluminium oxide, may aluminium is present. So we have to remove oxygen and we have to get aluminium. But this aluminium is having very high affinity for oxygen as it is highly reactive. So it cannot be reduced by any reducing agent. If we think so, Al2O3 we will take and we can react it with carbon, hydrogen, carbon monoxide. So what they will do, the carbon will take this oxygen forming carbon dioxide and aluminium will remove. Aluminium will left, but it cannot be happen. Why? Because aluminium is highly reactive and has a very good affinity for oxygen. So what we have to do? We have to do what? Electrolysis only. Only electrolysis is the method by which this aluminium and oxygen can be separate out. But one more problem is there, that aluminium oxide can melt at 2050 degrees Celsius, or you can say above 2000 degrees Celsius. And at this temperature, aluminium vaporize. And at this temperature, aluminium vaporize means if we have, suppose this is aluminium oxide. Now aluminium, for the electrolysis we need electrolyte. Electrolyte means molten form. Molten form means we have to heat it. We will heat it, it will melt above 2000 degrees Celsius. But above 2000 degrees Celsius, this aluminium vaporize, and this is the very big issue. Aluminium chahiye tha and it has vaporized. Now what to do? So there was a time when aluminium was more costlier than, you can say aluminium was costlier than gold, because it was not easy task to extract the aluminium. So it takes 3 years for the researchers, for the experimenters to do this research, and finally they found something by which aluminium can easily be extracted. So what was there? That with aluminium oxide, that is this, we should add 2 more things in it. We should add 2 more things in it, that is cryolite and fluorspar. Now second step, first step was purification of bauxite, right? So what happened, that when that aluminium oxide, that is alumina fused, that is aluminium oxide जो bauxite को purify करने के बाद we got, that is alumina. So that alumina melts at above 2000 degrees Celsius. At that temperature, aluminium vaporize. So now what to do, right? So scientists was working on it. They were not able to find. So it was very, as I told you, it was costlier than gold. But later on, what happened with alumina? They use for 20%. With alumina, they use cryolite 60% and phosphor 20%. Right? So when this two things were used, the temperature was brought down to 950 degrees Celsius. And at this temperature, aluminium don't vaporize. If aluminium will not vaporize, so it will get extracted. So they got elated over their success. We have succeeded in extracting the aluminium. So now the aluminium, which was costlier than gold, now become very cheap and is available for everyone to be used at the home. So now what they have done, they have how the from the fused alumina they have extracted the aluminium. For this we need electrolysis. So electrolytic cell, that is rectangular tank, they use some rectangular tank in which sloping bottom was there. Bottom was sloping, so that sloping bottom facilitates the removal of molten aluminium, means molten aluminium that can be removed. And that is lined by gas carbon. Lined by gas carbon means that cathode and anode which we have used is made up of carbon, made up of gas carbon. Alright. Now next, electrolyte. What electrolyte they have used? Alumina, that is Al2O3 20%. Cryolite, that is NaAlF6 60%. And phosphor, that is CaF2. Though isme aluminium is not there, but they have used. For some purpose they have used. I'll tell you the purpose. That is also for 20%. Right? And over this electrolyte, they have sprinkled powdered coke. They have sprinkled powdered coke. Why they have sprinkled? That also I will let you know. So now what ions up temperature is kept at 950 degrees Celsius. How much volt is applied? 5 to 6 volt. Ions, what ions are present? Alumina is Al2O3, so what will be present? Al plus 3 and O minus 2. NaAlF6, what is present? Na plus, Al plus 3 and F minus. Phosphor, that is CaF2, Ca plus 2, F minus. These ions are present. What is the use of alumina? You know, it is a ore of aluminium. What is the use of cryolite? Cryolite lowers the fusion temperature, means that a melting temperature to 950 degrees Celsius. To 950 degrees Celsius. So cryolite is very very important to put because it is lowering the fusion temperature. What else now? Phosphor. What is the use of phosphor? As pure alumina is very bad conductor of electricity, so phosphor help in conductivity of electricity. That means it can enhance the electrical conductivity. Alright. Now what reaction? Now how many cations are present? Aluminium, sodium, calcium. These cations are present. They will move towards cathode. Again, who will discharge first? Who is present below? That is aluminium. So it will discharge first. That is Al plus 3. We will Al plus 3 will gain 3 electron and will convert into aluminium and will deposit at cathode. Now at anode, what is present? Fluoride and oxygen. So oxygen will discharge. Oxygen O minus 2 will remove 2 electron and will convert into O. Now single O doesn't have any independent existence. So 2O we require. 2O matlab 4 electron. It will lose and convert into O2. But the thing is, at anode and at cathode, reaction should be, gain and loss of electron should be equal. So what can we do? Here we need 4 or here we need 3. दोनों ही नहीं कर सकते. We will multiply it by 4 and we will multiply it by 3. What we are going to get? 4Al plus 3. Right? So 4Al plus 3 we gain how many electrons? 4 3s are 12 and will convert into 4Al. So at a one time, aluminium 4 atoms of aluminium will get deposited at cathode. Now what will happen here? 3 2s are, 2 is already here. 3 2s are 6. 6. 6 2s are 12. Means यहाँ पर how many electron it will lose? 12 electron. Right? How many oxygen it will form? 6 atom of oxygen are there. So 3 molecule of oxygen will form. Right or wrong? ये समझ में आता है या नहीं? या you can say here 6 O will form. 6 O से मिलकर कितने ऑक्सीजन मॉलिक्यूल बनेंगे? 3O2. Right? Now that remember that anode and cathode is made up of gas carbon, means carbon is there. Carbon is having very much good affinity for oxygen, right? Very much good affinity. So that carbon will react with oxygen and form carbon monoxide. More oxygen will evolve. So carbon monoxide will get oxygen and will form carbon dioxide. So इसकी वजह से anode will start reacting. Anode जलने लग जाएगा because it is reacting with oxygen. So that is why that powdered coke is sprinkled so that burning of anode should be reduced. Powdered coke means also carbon. So that carbon can react with oxygen, but फिर भी anode carbon will react with oxygen. So anode has to be replaced periodically because anode can burn. Anode can burn and reaction can stop in between. That is why we should have to exchange the anode periodically at a certain time. After certain time we have to remove anode and we have to keep new anode. Old anode removed, keeping new anode. Old anode is removed, keeping new anode. All right, इतनी बात समझ में आ गई. Now we have extracted the aluminium. Now first step was Bayer's process, that is purification of bauxite. Second step was electrolytic reduction of aluminium, which is called as Hall-Héroult process. Remember this. Remember the name of processes. Second step is called as Hall-Héroult process. Now in this process we have taken out aluminium oxide. In this process, Hall-Héroult process, we have taken out aluminium. Aluminium we have extracted. Though aluminium is pure, लेकिन अगर if we want कि more purest form of aluminium, so we can go for third step, that is refining of aluminium, which is called as Hoops electrolytic process. But this Hoops electrolytic process is not in our course. But फिर भी just see what is happening. Nothing else. Just see what is happening. Hoops electrolytic process. There are three layers. Lower layer is molten impure aluminium, which is acting as anode. Middle layer is electrolyte. What is electrolyte? Fluoride of sodium, barium, and aluminium. And top layer is pure aluminium, which is taken as cathode. Alright. Electricity is conducted. Fluoride of sodium, barium, and aluminium. Who is present below? Aluminium. So aluminium will discharge. So aluminium will go here and will get deposited. But this electrode, anode, is also made up of aluminium. So from here, aluminium will go. Aluminium will lose the electron and will convert into ion and will come into the solution. And from here, it will go to the pure aluminium, right? So this molten rod, this impure aluminium will, from this impure aluminium will go to the top layer, and from there we can extract the pure aluminium. Though it is not there in your course, but for the information I have told you that three layers are there. Lower layer is impure aluminium taken as anode. Middle layer is electrolyte. Top layer is pure aluminium, right? As soon as electricity will be conducted, from the electrolyte, aluminium will start going upside, and equivalent amount of aluminium will come from this impure aluminium and come in the solution, and again from here it will go to the pure aluminium. Alright. So at cathode, what will happen? Anode, aluminium will get deposit. Aluminium plus 3 plus 3 electron will convert into aluminium, and at anode what happen, aluminium will lose 3 electron and will convert into aluminium ion. So this is all for extraction of extraction of aluminium, in which only two steps we have in our course, that is Bayer's process, very important, and Hall-Heroult process. Third process, that is refining, it is not there in our course. All right, so just go through it, just have a look on it, don't learn, just have a look on it. All right, now next topic is alloy, and the last topic. Now 7D part, that is alloys. What are alloys? Alloys are the mixture of two or more metals, or you can say metals or non-metals. So why we can make alloys? What is the purpose of making alloys? This is all the theoretical part that you can read it from the book, right? Like for lowering the melting point, for lowering the boiling point, for increasing the strength, for increasing the appearance, we can make alloys, right? So there are alloys melting range of about 51 degrees Celsius to 260 degrees Celsius. These alloys are called as fusible alloys. These alloys are called as fusible alloys. Like amalgam. Amalgam is there. Amalgam is what? Amalgam word refer to mercury, right? If with mercury we can add some, if with mercury suppose we are adding sodium, so it is sodium amalgam. If we are adding gold, gold amalgam. If we are adding silver, silver. So amalgam is what? Amalgam is used for mercury. All right. So next is, what is the purpose of making alloys? What are the purposes? Like see your book also. Like purpose of making alloy, it gives strength. Like brass is stronger than its component. Like brass is made up of copper and zinc. Itself copper and zinc are not stronger, but if we add them, so they can act as a alloy brass, and it will be more stronger, right? Aluminium bronze look like gold. Nichrome, like that is a alloy of nickel, iron and chromium, is more resistant to electricity. Carbaloy, an alloy of tungsten, carbon and cobalt, is as hard as diamond. Bell metal, that is copper and tin, is more sonorous than itself copper or tin. Copper or tin, अलग अलग उसको we will bring them, so it will not be so sonorous, but if we make them alloy of these two, so it will form bell metal, so it will be more sonorous. Alnico, that is Al, aluminium, Ni, nickel, Co, cobalt, that is lift 60 times of its own mass. Solder, that is an alloy of lead and tin, has a lower melting and boiling point. Type metal, that is lead, tin and antimony, has low melting point. Sodium amalgam is less reactive than sodium, so we can, if we want to store the sodium, we can store it in amalgam form, right? Reason of alloying, what is the reason? Like changing the appearance, modify the chemical activity, casting ability. Casting means, suppose we have a frame, and in this frame we want the full metal should spread equally. So casting, suppose हम लोगों ने alloy बनाया of lead, tin and antimony, right? So it was having a better casting ability, means if we pour on this frame, so it will cast in it very properly, that means spread in it very properly, right? Lower the melting point, increase the hardness. Tensile strength, what is the tensile strength? That is that it can withhold more mass, resistant to electricity, right? What is the method of making alloys? Like हमने lead, tin और antimony का alloy बनाना है, तीनों को हमने क्या किया? We have melted it and we have poured it in one container, stir it and left it for some time. So we will left it for some time, it will solidify and we will be having alloy. Now there are some alloys which are there in our course now. Only 5 alloys are there, that is stainless steel, duralumin, brass, bronze, fused metal या फिर solder. So you have to learn its composition and its uses. composition and its uses. All right. So just mark these 5 in your book. Learn the composition with their percentage and their uses. That's all for metallurgy.